Alright, so here we are. We're at the first option, which I failed miserably at. And instead we're going to try saying looking good, because you know what, at least it's going to give us some points. Might not give us all the points, but at least it's going to give it some. So let's go. Wow, Carver, you sure are looking good tonight. Did you get taller? I waggled my eyebrows at him a bit, and he took a step back, looking completely caught off guard. I mean it. There is definitely something different about you. Whatever it is, it's really working. There's nothing different about me. You've been working with Radley for far too long. His insanity is rubbing off on you. He gave a small humph and crossed his arms, glaring at nothing. Wait, are you wearing makeup? Like I would ever do such a thing like wear makeup. His face grew more red, and I leaned in to study it even closer. You are wearing makeup. Aw, Carver, it really suits you. Looking good. I gave him a sweet smile and watched as his face turned from being completely flustered, kind of disgusted. Have you been drinking? No. I just think you look cute. I almost choked on my words as they left my mouth. Carver? Cute? Ugh. He stared at me for a moment, completely shocked. He didn't wait for me to finish. The next thing I saw was him turning on his heels and running away. For having such tiny legs, he sure does run fast. Alright, there we go. Fixed that one. I know that the next one we did super good on, so I will see you guys in just a little bit. Here we go. Back to the base. Alright, here we are back again, and we are at a point when, we chose Dare Him, and instead we're going to try some pickup lines again, because threatening him just doesn't seem right. And hey, he gets the drift after a while, so let's try some pickup lines again. I let out a short sigh, then took a deep breath. This didn't work before, but one more try couldn't hurt, and this time he can't run away. If you were words on a cake, you'd be what they call fine print. You know, Carver, if you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber. Did you hit your head? Did you hit yours? I mean, it must have hurt when you fell from heaven. His eyes narrowed. He looked like he was studying me. He walked around the counter towards me and stared up at me. Do you have a fever? Are you sure you're all right? Wait, was he actually worried about me? No, Carver! I let out a sigh. This wasn't working. It was time to be blunt. I am flirting with you. What? You know, flirting? Are you making fun of me? He glared and I let out a sigh, slapping my hand to my forehead. No, donut head. Flirting. Flirting. I spelled it out for him and he just stared at me, one eyebrow raised. Why? Pastry God help me. Because I like you. I choked out the words, trying to make it sound as natural as possible. And I want to go on a date with you. For the cake, B. For the cake. His face quickly turned to one of suspicion. Why? I just told you. No. Please? This isn't how this was supposed to go. I was begging my rival for a date. He should be happy that anybody is asking him out. He glared at me for a minute before he let out a sigh and tapped his foot angrily. Fine, if you're going to be that pathetic about it. Oh, come on, Carver, it won't be... What? Oh, okay, great. I really didn't think it would be that easy, but who could turn me down? You go, B. If that's all, then I need to close, and you need to leave. He let out a short cough. See you tomorrow. Fine. I'll get out of your ding... I stopped and silently reminded myself to play nice. I'll see you tomorrow, then. I walked out of the shop and started walking back home. You're that much closer to making the best cake in history. I'll finally be able to show Carver who's the best. Alright, there we go. That was another one of them. See you guys in a little bit again. Alright, welcome back you guys again. And this time we are back at this point of the story. I just chose the same answers I did for all the other ones, and even though they were only half points and stuff like that, I was like, well, I don't want to take the chances that I'm going to get into the 0 things, so I'll just take what I can get. This one was a halvesy too, and I am going to try, so, sheep, huh? Or acts like everything's normal. I don't know which one would be better. Need to play up the awkward or kind of seem like I don't care as much. So I'm gonna playing up the awkward. So, sheep, huh? I walked closer, linking my hands behind my back. So, sheep, huh? Carver glared at me and I winced. Pastry God, why couldn't I not be awkward when it really counted? I cleared my throat, inching closer. It was like I'd forgotten how to speak. I felt flustered, my cheeks heating as he stared at me. If you're trying to apologize, you're horrible at it. I winced, letting out a sigh. I shifted awkwardly in place for a second before moving next to him and sitting down. Look, I'm sorry. I don't know if he believed me or not. I don't think I've ever apologized to him before. He stared at me for a second and then faced forwards again, resting his elbows on his knees. I don't know why I always say stuff like that to you. It just sort of comes out. He let out a scoff. Well, I suppose someone of your level of maturity can't be expected to keep track of everything they say. Now I remember. Alright, I think all of the dialogue after this should probably be the same, but if it's not, you know, I just pretend like it is. So then we're gonna skip through this, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Whew! Okay, hi, welcome back, guys, again. Okay, we're on to episode 8, and look at our hearts. We're above half point. So I'm hoping that I can still tell him the truth, and it'll all work out. Because I don't want to lie. I'm not going to lie to him. So we're going to go back in here, and we're going to tell him the truth. Since it was kind of weird skipping through this when I did the Benjamin route, I'm going to just read through the chapter again, because it was only like 7 minutes long. It was fine. And I'm going to give you guys like a full kind of episode this time around. So since that's what I'm going to do, let's get started. I let out a huff as I undid my braid for the 3rd time. I needed it to look perfect. Oh, would you cooperate with me? I grabbed the section of hair again and carefully weaved the strands together. I did this every day. It shouldn't be this difficult. Maybe it's because I was so nervous. Carver was supposed to be here soon. I didn't feel ready for our date. A real date. After apologizing yesterday, we agreed to try again, and this time I was actually excited. For a date with Carver, of all elves. I never thought I would ever be excited to be on a date with him. I never thought I would be going on a date with him in general. I smiled at myself as I carefully picked out an outfit and looked in the mirror. I patted my cheeks and gave my reflection a wide smile. You can do this, Bee. Go out there and knock his tiny socks off. Sweep him off his baby feet. I left my room and trotted down the stairs to wait for him in the empty bakery. I sent Radley home early. I couldn't risk another incident like the other day. I let out a sigh as I remembered what happened. Never again. The sound of somebody knocking on the door snapped me out of my thoughts, and I perked up and skipped to the door, suddenly feeling kind of nervous. I opened it slowly and saw just who I was expecting standing outside. Gonna take a drink. Hey! Carver stared at me for a second, then let out a small cough and looked away. Hi. He looked somewhat different. Did he actually put in an effort this time? Why did he look so nervous? Then again, I was feeling the same way a second ago. I stepped outside and looked at him expectantly. Did you come up with anything? I thought we could go on a walk. Hopefully not in a circle this time. No, I actually have a plan this time. He glared at me. Or was he pouting? It seemed more cute than his usual grumpy face. Oh, all right. I'm following you then. He led me towards the forest and we walked beside each other, walking closer and closer to his meditation field. He was totally sleeping. We sat down next to each other and chatted about random things. At some point, we started joking about when we were younger and both training under my grandmother. Do you remember that one time she got us to make soufflés? Ugh. I laughed. Carver and I had always competed with each other, though he usually won. Okay, I have a confession. What? His eyes narrowed and he glared at me. I may or may not have sabotaged the soufflé. I knew it! He reached over and pushed my arm, and I could only laugh, remembering how the soufflé had exploded in his face. The face! The face you made, it was too priceless! He stopped, glaring at me, and an almost evil grin spread across his face. Fine then, do you remember the ants? No. That That was Radley. He sat there silently, grinning. That was you? No way! Radley got into so much trouble for that. He let out another laugh, and after a minute I couldn't help but join in. Radley was banned from the bakery for weeks because my grandmother thought that he brought ants in and put them on my cookies. We should apologize to him. Okay, maybe not. I relaxed and leaned backwards, resting the palms of my hand in the soft licorice grass. We sat in a comfortable silence for a few minutes before Carver spoke up. Why did you ask me to go on a date with you? I paused, my breath caught in my throat. I couldn't tell him, could I? I'm telling the truth, guys. I told you, I'm telling the truth. I nodded to myself. It was better to just tell the truth. There's no point in trying to hide it or trying to lie. Don't get mad. Just hear me out, okay? I was reading through my grandmother's recipe book, and I found one that I hadn't made yet, and that I can't make. Yet. It needs love to be able to make it, and I thought... You thought of me. Of all elves, why me? I couldn't tell him this part. The feelings of shame spread through my body, and I took a deep breath. You? I just wanted to make the best cake, and I wanted to beat you. So that's all this has been. He looks so sad. I feel so bad every time. You trying to get better than me? I knew you were petty, but... He cut himself off and jumped up. He looked like he was ready to bolt again. Carver, wait, that's not... I don't feel like that anymore. It doesn't matter. He gave me a cold look before running off. I watched as he ran away. My cheeks felt warm. He was right. He was right. All I've ever been is jealous of him, and it had ruined everything. I pushed the heels of my palms into my eyes, trying to stop the slow flow of tears that was tumbling down my cheeks. Things were going so well. You just had to mess up again, didn't you? We shouldn't even bother trying again. I cried to myself, sitting in the field alone for pastries knows how long. I looked up at the soft bow of a sheep and found Benjamin standing a few feet away from me. How long had he been there? One of his sheep stood in front of me and bawed again. Hello? The sheep nudged my head and I reached out and patted it. What do you do with sheep? Hello, Beau. I nodded to him, then reached down and hugged the sheep. So soft. Who knew that sheep could be so comforting? I heard a shuffling noise and lifted my head to see that he sat nearby. He wasn't saying anything, and his other sheep walked around nearby and started grazing on grass. I buried my head in the wool and let out a deep breath. What do I do? I really messed up. I can't believe I ever thought any of this was a good idea. Benjamin didn't say anything, but a brief look told me that he was at least listening, and it was more comforting than I would have expected. I decided to confess everything. I talked about the recipe, why I chose Carver, our rivalry, and how it started. I told him about my jealousy, and finally about how badly I messed everything up. The entire time he sat there silent. The sheep bawed to each other every now and then, but the one never left my side as I explained everything. It let me hug it and cry into its wool. I took a few deep breaths to calm down and wipe the last few tears off my cheeks. It felt really good to get that all off my chest. I finally let go of the sheep, and it poked my cheek with its nose once before trotting over to join the other one. No wonder Benjamin loved them so much. Beau, are you feeling better? I looked up and met his eyes for a second and gave a small, relieved smile. Yeah, thank you for listening. I should probably go home now. The sky had gotten much darker than it was when I left. I didn't realize until just now how late it was. That's probably the best idea. He stood up slowly and I followed suit, brushing off my skirt and stretching my aching knees. I had definitely been sitting for too long. I started walking away, then I stopped and turned to Benjamin. Thank you again, and I'm sorry for being so rude to you before. He tilted his head and gave me a confused look. Rude? You've been very kind to me, Beau. Does he know the definition of kind? I'm anything but kind. I think you should apologize to Carver tomorrow. He seemed to speak to himself, and he nodded gently before turning and walking away, his two sheep in tow. maybe he wasn't as weird as I thought he was. I sighed and rubbed my face. I should try to get home and get some sleep before tomorrow. There we go, guys. We did it. Holla at a play. We did it. We did it. On the second round. I don't know what it is about me in first rounds trying to win people's hearts and losing and failing miserably. But this game is a challenge that I am willing to face for you guys. But we did it. So now you can get chapter 9, which will be amazing. So here goes. You guys know the drill. Have a great weekend, have a good week, and good night.